Hello, my name is Nsikak Evans. I'm the host of your regular program Beyond Plenary. This is where we'll be discussing issues beyond the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. It's a lawmaking, committee meetings, oversight functions, and breathtaking interviews. This is where senators and technocrats will be responding to issues that are agitating for answers. You want to be a part of the program? Then join me this Friday by 3:30. Beyond Plenary, taking the Senate to your doorstep.
Welcome back. Since January this year, militant attacks have increased. Militant groups like the Niger Delta Avengers says it is on a campaign to cripple oil production. We have Commodore EZEKOBE, the Director of Naval Information, on the program. Do you think we are winning the war against these criminals?
Well, I like to address the issue twofold. Now, these elements you talk about have various modes of operation. Some are engaged in the outright sabotage, destruction of oil and gas infrastructure that is the Commonwealth of Nigeria. Others are involved in offshore operations, sea robbery attacks, piracy attacks with a view to hostage taking, demand for ransom, and so on and so forth. So in the aspect of these elements being engaged in sea robbery and piracy, I like to say that yes, there was an upsurge from say about January till April, and following which the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, gave a directive for an operation to be initiated to curb this menace. Operation Sariteku was then initiated in April, and by the sheer activities of that operation, the spate of piracy and sea robbery has been zero as it is today. In the first 90 days, we had 2 attacks. One was an attempted boarding, one was an actual boarding. So in terms of having these miscreants embarrass us at sea with respect to shipping and the safety of oil and gas infrastructure out there at sea, I would say the Navy is very much on top of the situation. As it is right now, there are 0 incidences. In fact, on the 17th of this month, a British ship, Vectis Osprey, was rescued by one of our ships, NNS Wamba, that was detached from that operation to, assist the vessel that was in distress. For the other part of it, that is operating within the backwaters, within the hinterland, that is, be it Niger Delta Avengers or what have you. Most unfortunate that these elements have decided to attack oil and gas infrastructure, either of government or joint venture partners, especially in the light of the dwindling economy. But we have sufficient intelligence that will enable us engage these elements effectively.
Okay, wait, let me cut you here. You have talked about engaging the elements. Let's watch this short clip from the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas.
Any challenge we have in our waters that is not addressed could, of course, affect nations all over the world. Our policing role places on us enormous responsibility that the other services perhaps do not have. It therefore means that when we have ships out there, 24/7 those ships are running, they are manned, and in that singular responsibility that we have, enormous resources are consumed.
I'm curious to know, in the light of what the Chief of Naval Staff has said, in whatever happens to our territorial waters will affect the region, in the light of also dwindling resources. But I also hear that the Navy has now embarked on boat building to build capacity. How has the Navy been able to achieve this feat?
Well, we have one of the most sophisticated dockyards on the continent, the Naval Dockyard Limited in Victoria Island. We have a competent team of engineers, architects and engineers. And in 2011, thereabout, the Navy thought it wise that we should attempt building vessels between 35-40 meters in length. And that gave rise to the building of the first indigenous seaward defense boat, NNS Andoni. And after we launched NNS Andoni, the Navy felt we should go a step further, correct the mistakes of the Andoni, and go into the construction of a second seaward defense boat, which the Chief of Naval Staff recently launched in Lagos. Now, for inshore patrol boats, we've partnered with indigenous companies, the Epenal Boats Limited in Port Harcourt. We took delivery of 30 boats earlier in the year. Only last week we took delivery of another 30, but these 30 were constructed in our own facilities by the company, but of course it builds capacity for us, for our staff and for our technical crew within, such that in a no distant future we hopefully should be building such boats on our own steam. We're also in partnership with John Holt, and within the next few months they too will be delivering some boats to us. So in that sense, I would say that we are taking the initiative of indigenous construction to the next level.
Living indigenous construction, because I know that there's so much Nigerians who want to know. We'll have you on our program again on this issue. Let's go back to the Avengers. Recently, they said they want to dialogue with government. There are two schools of thought. Some say it's because the heat from the Navy is too much. Others say because it is a clear signal that they are losing the battle. Do we see the Navy stopping operations as this dialogue is placed on the table?
Well, government has given a directive that it tends to dialogue with the militants. Of course, once the political masters have given such a directive, there will be no need for us to further engage the adversary. But within this period, we'll focus our attention to intelligence gathering, community relations, and be on top of the issue such that whereby dialogue fails, we will be ready to engage immediately.
Can we know a little bit about the Navy's capacity? I know you might not want to give us full details on the Falcon Eye because of intelligence, but are you telling Nigerians that the Navy is able to contain any threats on its territorial waters?
I'm happy you asked this question. The Navy has the regional maritime awareness capability, which is headquartered in Lagos. And we have 9 repeater stations along the coast. Now, what this does for us is that each of these stations gives us a coverage of about 35 to 40 nautical miles. So in a manner of speaking, our territorial waters are well covered by surveillance. The problem hitherto has been our exclusive economic zone. But with the initiation of the Falcon Eye project by the Office of the National Security Advisor, we would be able to see in excess of 200 nautical miles, which is in excess of our exclusive economic zone. The Falcon Eye, in its developmental phase, was very instructive in the rescue of the MT Maximus, the celebrated case of, the Maximus that was rescued earlier in the year, because of the range of the Falcon Eye facility. So once it is fully initiated and has been commissioned, I believe that it would largely enhance our surveillance capabilities.
Thank you very much. You have heard it loud and clear from Commodore Chris EZEKOBE, the Director of Naval Information of the Nigerian Navy. The Navy has the capacity to protect oil facilities, curb criminality and piracy in the Niger Delta. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll bring you up to speed on international coalition against terror.
Shakar Wahid al-Fadawi al-Dalemi, popularly known as Abu Wahid, was a former member of Al-Qaeda and leader of the militant group Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, ISIL. Born in 1986 in Anbar province of Iraq, he was arrested by the U.S. forces in 2006 while studying computer science in the University of Anbar and detained by the famous Camp Bakr detention facility in southern Iraq on charges of belonging to Al-Qaeda. He was sentenced to death in 2009 and subsequently moved to Tikrit Central Prison in Saladin province in 2011. Abu Wahid was among 110 detainees who escaped the prison following a riot and an attack by forces from the Islamic State of Iraq in 2012. He became a field commander after months and weeks of tutoring from senior ISIS leaders, many of them his colleagues, in detention. Abu Wahid became popular when he appeared online during the execution of 3 Syrian drivers who failed to answer his Quran quiz correctly. This act also placed his name on the notorious terrorist watch list worldwide. Investigations revealed he had risen to the head of the Al-Anbar Lions. This subsequently led to a $50,000 bounty on him by Iraqi officials. The Iraqi government also blamed him for a long list of terror-related atrocities, which subsequently caused an increase in the bounty placed on his head from $50,000 to $500,000, about 175 million naira. By 2014, Abu Wahid played an important role in leading many ISIS combat operations. He reportedly held significant sway over young militant members and was obsessively image conscious, something of a cult figure for up-and-coming misguided jihadists. His charismatic qualities and prominence in ISIS propaganda videos made him an ISIS figurehead, an image intended to inspire and stir ISIS supporters inside and outside Iraq. On May 6, 2016, Abu Wahid was killed alongside 3 others in a United States-led coalition airstrike which targeted his vehicle near the western Iraqi town of Rutbah. An unfortunate end for a misguided youth, and a clear signal that terrorism does not pay. It is a shortcut to quick and shameful death.
Terrorism does not pay. It is a shortcut to quick and painful death. We have come to the end of today's program, Command Center. You can keep the conversation going by liking our Facebook page, STV Command Center. You can also follow us on Twitter at Command Center 16. Today we had Commodore Chris EZEKOBE, the Director of Naval Information, here on the studio. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, terrorism does not pay. It is a shortcut to quick and painful death. Take care. Center is where we tell you the ongoing successes on the war against terror. It will give you a panorama. In the face of an ongoing insurgency in the Northeast.